What up, guys? Hit you guys from the back of the van right now on tour. You're about to listen to Anthony Comunale, Raw Deal, great friend of mine. I did this like 7-8 months ago. Since then, I know what I'm doing with the sound and how to work all the levels. But when I did this one, I didn't. So I apologize. My man Joe Vasian, my man Tucci did their best to fix the sound quality of this. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much.
One life, one chance, gotta do it right. One life, one chance, gotta do it right.
Anthony, thank you for being on the podcast. Anthony Comunale, my friend for many, many years from Killing Time. Thanks for being on here. What I was doing, I talked to Pete yesterday. I talked to Devil. I talked to Squirm, Freddie, Matt Henderson. I'm just kind of doing some reminiscing of when I first moved to New York and met all you guys. And I definitely have some great memories with you. One for me was I had a brand new car and was sitting in front of the GB house, and you're playing me the Brightside album. I forgot what car that was, but do you remember that?
Probably a Jetta.
The Jetta, yeah, it was the Jetta. Yes. And you were like one of the only responsible people that I met there. You had a job, you had a car. You were like, you still played music, but you're like a responsible working class guy, and I always thought that was fucking awesome. But do you remember the first time I met you?
Yeah, you lived in a closet.
Yeah. So it was Jackson. It was Jackson Heights.
Yeah, in the GB house.
Yeah, as the first time. Yeah.
You live right around the block from Burger King.
Yes, Murder King. Yes. So yeah, I mean, some of those. What's that?
I said a couple blocks away.
Yeah, and some of those earlier shows, I think was it still Raw Deal at the time? No, in '88.
Yes, that's when we first started.
Oh, you started in '88.
I think '87. The day after Thanksgiving, I went up to practice with those guys. The breakdown had just broken up. I had just gotten thrown out of Token Entry at the time in '86.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, I always forget you in Token Entry because I moved to New York to live with Timmy Chunks. Obviously, he was a singer at that point. And then, were you born in Queens or no?
Yeah, Jackson Heights.
Okay. So did you meet Siv and all these guys early on, or you didn't meet them too? Like when you first started coming around, did you meet these guys first? Yeah.
Well, I hung out with this guy, Big Steve, and not too many other guys from Jackson Heights at the time. And then I met when I was in Gilligan's Revenge. I met Arthur, and through Arthur, he was became kind of friendly with Siv and them when they first started hanging out. I guess around '84, '85. Yeah. And then we met Walter. I think I met Walter first through Arthur, and then we met Siv, and then they were practicing. The Gorilla Business were the first one. The first I can't think of the word. The first phase of the group was practice right down the block from the Pyramids.
Oh wow.
Astoria. And they had that guy. They used to make fun of the guy GM2. They used to call him. He was like a Greek kid, George something. So Walter actually had a rap that was pretty funny. I mean, you got to get him to do that rap.
Yeah, I will. That's awesome. And so what got you into this type of music? Was it through people at school? Like, how'd you find out about the hardcore music? Was it just through friends?
Well, yeah, it was like in 7th grade there was a kid who had a Sex Pistols sticker on his book, or
nice.
I don't even remember what he had on. So I was making fun of him because I grew up in Jackson Heights, where I grew up was a lot of people were into disco, and it's a pretty predominantly black Spanish neighborhood. So I grew up in listening to disco and everything like that. And I was making fun of the guy. And then I went home, and there was like an alternative station, like a college station, I think NYU, and they played "God Save the Queen."
Wow.
That's the first time I ever heard something like that, and I was like, wow. I was mesmerized, when he said, "Oh, that was God Save the Queen" by the Sex Pistols. I was like, best thing I ever heard. Oh, so, I was into that. And then in '81, I get into high school, and I meet EJ, who lives out in California now. His name's, his name was Eddie Baca, we used to call him.
Yeah.
And he saw I had a Sex Pistols patch on. He goes, "Oh, you like punk? You can listen to this." So he came in the next day. He made me a mixtape of like Group Sex album and Black Flag. And all the Minor Threat single and G.I. single, Necros, and as soon as I heard it, I was, addicted.
That's fucking awesome.
That was it.
And so
I was give him credit.
Yeah.
Without him, I would have never heard of it.
That's amazing. So how were you in high school? Were you like a good student? Did you get good grades? Did you graduate? And
Yeah, I graduated at the bottom of the class. I never took it serious. Never studied, did homework right at the beginning. I regret all of it, but
yeah.
Did
you go to?
Once I went to the community college, I failed out of that the first time.
Oh shit!
Bad I was, but failed out of 13th grade.
13th grade. So what did you want to do at that point? Like when you were out of school, did you just write to work right then, or?
Yeah, I became a tin knocker. I was a local, what was that, 128? It was like a sign makers. And
Okay.
I hated it. And I said, I always wanted to, ever since seeing Trading Places in I guess the movie came out around 85 or so.
Yeah.
And saw the end of the movie when they were trading futures. I said, oh my God, I want to do that. Because, it seemed like an extension of hardcore.
Yeah.
And it was like Wall Street and things like that. So I wound up having to go to school at night to get just enough to get out of community college. And then I went full time for like 2 years at Baruch. And I had a professor who told me, I sat in the last corner seat. And he said, the last kid that sat in there failed. And I said, don't worry, I ain't failing. So he goes, if you get an A, I'll get you a job on the floor. So I got an A and he got me a job. And, I was lucky to get that job. I beat out some kid from Dartmouth and stuff like that. So it made me feel good. And then within a year, I was trading.
Wow.
So
what years was that? What did that start?
I think I started trading probably in 92. Right before I started trading, I started working there in 92. And then what was the first trade center bombing? 93? I think 93, I went in the ring like a month after that. And I was going across the street to lunch when that bomb went off. And they didn't tell us anything. We went back to work and they go, everything's fine. And the next thing you know, they made us run out of the place. Within half an hour, they shut the lights and said everybody leave. So.
Wow. And so when did The Bright Side come out?
1988, I think.
Holy shit.
Was it 88 or 89?
89 maybe, yeah. I mean,
we caught that whole wave of when they were trying to, everyone was trying to get bans, because of the whole crossover thing, I guess.
Yeah.
We got signed. We were sick of it all at the time to Relativity and, Leeway and Murphy's Law and Cro-Mags were on Profile. So they were like, just going to grab everybody,
Yeah.
whatever they could get their hands on.
Yeah. And that
we lucked out.
Yeah. And that record, man, shit, I think the record stands on its own as like a hardcore masterpiece, I feel. The guitar playing, just everything about that record is just a solid, perfect record. Do you remember making that record or how long it took? Or
Yeah, we went up to the place that Sick of It All went to. Tom Sawyer's.
Yeah, Tom Sawyer's.
Pretty good, at the time. It was in, what was it called? I forgot what it was called, but it was up in Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, yeah.
And it was weird because we were by the place. I think one side of the street, a couple blocks away, was Rhode Island, and as soon as you went across the street, it was Massachusetts. I don't know if I remember that correctly.
Oh, shit.
But we drove up, and on the way home, Lou came with us to do background vocals. We spent the weekend there. It was pretty good. And then on the way home, we're speeding and Rich is in the car in front of me.
Yeah.
We get pulled over by some, I didn't know who it was. I thought some psycho was yelling at us because, it wasn't a cop car. It was like a Grand National GNX. Guys screaming in my mirror. And then I kind of see a light on the dashboard. So they pulled both over and Rich is like, gives a story. Oh, I'm sorry, officer. So the cop comes up to me. He goes, today's your lucky day. You're getting the ticket, your friend's not. So I got the ticket. And then,
shit.
That was it.
Oh, shit. So, so when that record came out, because I know how now obviously it's a classic and people love it. And a couple of people already mentioned this on the podcast about the importance of The Bright Side. Did you realize what kind of record you make and the impact it was going to have? Like when it first came out, was an initial great reaction to it, or just like you just put a record out?
It was, I was surprised because, I came out of Token Entry, which at the time wasn't, it was kind of before the crossover. So
yeah.
You kind of had the old kids that were into hardcore were dropping out of the scene, and the leftovers really didn't seem to be too into it. And then afterwards, once the crossover kids started hanging out, it became a big thing. So I was kind of shocked because, like I said, when I was in Token Entry, when I got thrown out at the time, it was like we were actually finally starting to get crowds. So when I got locked out and got in this band with these guys,
yeah.
with Carl and Drago and Rich, it was a total shock.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden we were doing, Sick of It All helped us a lot. Playing with them everywhere. Every weekend we go somewhere with them, and we started getting a big response all the time. So I was, pretty impressed. But me, I'm very, I'm a very pessimistic person, so I don't know, you know, what people like us and things like that, you know. But
and then
you know me, I always think no one's going to be at the show or this and that.
And then you guys did that 7-inch too, like California? Was it you guys Envision, right, in California? Was it like a 7-inch?
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, we had a good time. That was what do you call it? Came out at that time, the social, because we were listening to it the whole way. Me and Dave, rest in peace, and Squirm, and what was it that the one with the Johnny Cash cover on it? I can't.
Social Distortion, right? Was it between Heaven and Hell, or?
Nah, but was that the one like right after they got back together again? Like, it came out, I guess, in '87 or '88. It had
was that Prison Bound?
Fire on it. Sick Boy.
Oh yeah,
I think it was right after Prison Bound. Yeah, it was a great record.
That's a great band. Social Distortion is one of the greatest, man, for sure. People don't mention them in their top, like punk bands, but they're in my fucking top for sure.
Oh, without a doubt, they're very influential. You know, because a lot of people forget. You know, the early hardcore, you know, came from punk. Those guys were punk. You know, they're not really have any metal whatsoever.
Nope.
You know. At that point, things went, you know, either you went punk or you kind of went towards the crossover thing, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, another state of mind.
Because hardcore's not really, it's really more metal than anything, I would think, you know, anyway.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's what separated it from punk rock. But Another State of Mind was incredible, man. That shit was such an amazing visual and audio to have in the VHS when I was a kid, or Night Flight.
Yeah, no, I read that's what turned you on when you saw that.
Yeah.
I read it the other day.
Yeah. So good, man. That was so impactful back then. Those kind of videos. But I always liked the West Coast stuff too. Even living on the East Coast.
Oh, me too.
And so when you guys what's the furthest that Killing Time went as far? I know you guys went to Europe too. Was that in the '90s too?
Yeah, they went without me.
Oh, that's right. It's Dave Vision sang.
Yeah, Dave Vision sang one tour, and then they went to Europe again with Steve Murphy from Uppercut. And now he's in a band with them now. They have a metalish band called Kings Destroy with Carl and Seawolf and Steve Murphy, which is a great band. So you know, check it out. It's called Kings Destroy.
Okay.
And then they went to Europe with. Then they went to Japan with Steve Murphy singing.
Holy shit! Why couldn't you go just because of work?
No, I just hate to fly. I'm scared to death of it.
Damn.
And then I said, whoever, you know, I keep toying with the idea of going, you know, because I feel bad. And then every time I say, if I get on the plane, whoever's on with, who's, you know, be prepared to go down. You know, and I tell my wife all the time. You know, every time I see everyone's Facebook or Instagram posts, I say I give all these guys credit. You know, it's like how they get on these planes and it doesn't bother them. I say I love it. I wish I could do it.
Yeah.
You know, I love seeing all my friends. I mean, how many of my friends are in bands and stuff, and that you guys are all successful and constantly doing what you love and making a living at it. You know, it's a beautiful thing. Who would have thought that?
It's fucking crazy. So you never tried flying or like taking any medication or anything?
No, I flew a couple times. I just, you know, once those doors close and it starts revving up, I'm like panic mode.
I feel you. I have the same kind. I know Jamie Josta had it for a long time. They had to drug him to put him on planes. Now he does it, but he got hypnotized or something. He actually talked to me about getting hypnotized because I'm not scared.
Really?
I'm not. Yeah. And I'm not scared of crashing. I hate, like you said, as soon as they lock those doors and you're in your seats and you can't get up and you can't go to the bathroom, you can't anything. I feel like you're powerless up there because they can tell you to do anything. You can't resist or even say no, because then when you land, they'll fucking arrest you. Even just having an opinion, it sucks, man.
I don't like anything about it.
Yeah. So have you been to Europe?
Probably, you know,
go ahead.
Flew about 10 times, but yeah, I've been to Europe with, you know, I've been to Ireland and Italy, you know, with my wife and stuff. But other than that, no.
Wow, it's crazy, man. So you never got to go with your band? That's wild, man.
Yeah, no.
Wow. So So you still had you were working on Wall Street and playing shows. I thought that was pretty amazing back then.
Yeah, it was good times.
Yeah. And then, what did you guys? Were you ever did you ever do like longer tours back then too? It was hard to do it at that point. Like not flying, but like 2 weeks here through the U.S. and stuff.
Yeah, you know, we did a couple, you know, not really. Probably most of the stuff we did was like a 3-day weekend type of stuff, you know.
Yeah. Was there ever a part? Was there ever a part of you that just wanted to like go for it and just really just do it, or you just wanted?
No, because I never got in a band for that reason.
Yeah.
And at that time there was no, really wasn't. I didn't see any future in it. Not that that's what I would have done anyway. Because
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was always the kind of person to play it safe.
Yeah.
Which in retrospect is pretty funny how I played it safe, and I'm in no better position than anyone I know nowadays.
Yeah.
After the Wall Street thing going electronic and losing my career, and now now I'm a bricklayer. It's
Yeah.
like how could I say, oh shit, look what happened.
When did that go? When did that crash? I mean, that's the big famous crash. Obviously, you were part of that. That's when it happened in like 2000. What was it?
Yeah, but see, I traded futures. I traded energy futures. So we never really got affected by that. What happened with me was, we were in a ring which became, a trading ring. Like I said, it was like a pit, almost like a hardcore pit.
Yeah.
With the yelling and screaming, and it became obsolete with all the technology, internet technologies, and then we were side by side with the electronics, and then we just got to basically lost all the business, and I tried trading electronically, and it didn't work because you couldn't compete with these big companies using these I don't even know what an algorithm is.
Yeah.
But I kept thinking it was just a learning curve, and 2 years later, I lost everything. So
holy shit! What year was that when it finally was over for that?
I think right around the time my mother died in 2007 to 2009, that whole time frame.
Were you working downtown during 2000 during 9/11? Were you down there?
Yeah, I actually lived right across the street.
Holy
shit! And not even right across the street from the Trade Center. It was weird. I didn't even hear the plane hit. The first plane hit. I didn't even feel it, which is unbelievable because I lived, like I said, right across the street.
Yeah.
And my mother-in-law had left them. I had my music on, loud. I was in the shower, or whatever. And my mother-in-law goes, "Oh, left a message. Got a plane hit the World Trade Center." So as I'm, taking down the elevator, I'm just thinking, it must have been like one of those small aircraft.
Yeah.
Hit a building. No big deal.
Yeah.
So I was just going to tell the guys that worked for me at the time, we'll just call it a day today. And then I get out of my building, and there's like, hundreds of people crowding around the front, the front area of my building. And I see them looking up, and they're like, screaming. I look up, I see, there's a gigantic hole in the building, flames everywhere. And I start seeing people jumping, so I put my head down right after that. And I was walking, my commute to work was a 2-minute walk. I didn't cross the street.
Yeah.
And I started walking there, and then that's when I heard, the craziest noise I ever heard in my life. And the second plane hit, and I thought the building, was going to blow up, and everybody just went running in different directions. And
holy shit!
that was that.
Did you go? Did you?
I was on the FDR.
Yeah. Did you run? Oh, you went the FDR. Like you got in your car and you took off. You mean?
No, my car was in the garage.
Oh shit!
Like I said, I lived there, so my car, got the stuff. My car was full of that junk.
Damn.
And then, we saw the building collapse when we were on the FDR Drive. It was the craziest day of my life.
Holy shit! And then did they shut down everything down there for like you can go back to work after that? Or was it shut down for a little while or?
Yeah, I couldn't get in my apartment for about 2 months.
Holy shit!
We had eventually just moved out. But being that we were the exchange, and an important part of world economy.
Yeah.
At that point, the energies, and let us actually go back to work the following Monday, which was no one else was down there except us and maybe the stock exchange and the people trying to clean up and find people after 9/11.
Damn.
We had to take a ferry to work. It was very high security. It was crazy. Then eventually they let us go from 14th Street, and a couple of weeks later it moved to a canal, and you had to walk down, and it's just little by little.
Wow, man. I can't even imagine like being like a week later. It must have been fucking still crazy there, like dust everywhere and all that shit. Like, because I think somebody told me like the car was like at the bottom of a building in a parking garage. When they got it months later, it was like all that soot and all that stuff from the buildings was inside the car. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Well, the funniest thing is they let me take my car. I heard eventually people got their cars quarantined. I drove around with this shit. Who knows what's in my lungs?
Whoa.
So I get in the car. There's like a couple inches of dust in it. Because they will park the cars and your windows open. So I tell her, I get to 14th Street, which was the cutoff. And they sprayed my car with water. I said, well, what am I supposed to do? They go, go to the car wash. And I was like, what, are you kidding me? I did. Then they had these people cleaning the apartments wearing like a little dust mask and, wiping it down with like paper towels and Windex. I said, this is ridiculous.
Holy shit.
But,
yeah, fuck.
Crazy.
That is so crazy. So as far as like what you're doing now, I know your father, you have a family, it's amazing. All of us have kids now. We're all like grown up dudes, but I feel like we're also big kids. And do you feel like you carry, obviously, as an adult and as a parent, maybe a husband, everything in your life, like the values that you learned from being a punk rocker and a hardcore kid? Do you think you carry that in your whole entire life, even when you're on the stock exchange, all that?
Oh, yeah, of course. It's, like they say, punk, hardcore, it's a way of life. And it always is. It's always there. And, I try and get my kids into it. I mean, I love how I tell Sharon I'm jealous how your son goes with you everywhere. And, you're like our best friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And my kids have no interest in punk or hardcore or anything like that.
None of it, huh?
No, my daughter comes to see the shows once in a while, but that's it.
And what do they must bug out seeing you up there, like, because you go hard in your voice, you know what I mean? Like, it must be crazy when they first saw like, your dad on stage doing that. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, because they don't picture me like that.
Yeah. Are they into like just regular music, like hip hop and whatever's on the radio and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, kind of. My oldest isn't into music at all, so he just plays his video games. Yeah.
It's crazy now too with the kids too. Just like our kids will never like not see a world where there's no phones. Like we knew life before phones. We knew like we're gonna go to a show. We'll meet you at the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's horrible. It's horrible. These kids, it's unfortunate for them. And what are they gonna do career wise? I mean, this technology is great in one way, and it's killing us in the other way. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's
your kids don't really go out to play. I saw the picture you had of Max, when you posted that, he's not into that stuff. He likes to go out, hang out, go eat, do this and that.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
A lot of kids, they can't get away from these games and these phones. I mean, you go out and you see everyone's on their phone, walking down the street on their phone. It's sick.
Yeah, I haven't been in New York in a while, so I'm sure people are walking with their heads down through crosswalks, through like busy Manhattan with cabs and shit. I'm sure there's so many people getting hit, man, for sure.
Yeah, thank God I haven't seen anybody.
No, but you know what I mean? Like nobody's even looking anymore, so I've never seen New York.
Oh, yeah, no, everybody. I mean, 99% of the people are walking down the street with the phones. I mean, homeless people walking down the street, they're texting their phones,
That's
it's
fucking
insane.
crazy, too. I don't know what the fuck, how that happens. I actually
it's the worst thing in the world.
I actually heard that, like...
What's up?
I actually heard, like, some rich people give homeless people phones, like little cheap phones, and they pay for them monthly so they can contact their families. I heard that out here, if that's true or not. Like, because I'm always wondering how...
Really?
Homeless people have
That'd be
phones.
a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Like, just like a cheap monthly thing they give them. Like, I don't know. It's crazy, man.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So...
Sounds like something you would do.
What's that?
Sounds like something you would do.
Yeah, I'll try, man. That's pretty cool. Those little burner phones and shit. All right, so when you're on Wall Street and doing all that stuff, I mean, you were probably, that was like almost like hardcore, like you were saying, because you were yelling on there. I would love to see you like doing that, because the way your voice is and the way you sing, like it's pretty much doing the same thing, but getting paid to do your job that way too, right? That's pretty much why you chose. That's what you said. Yeah. Fuck me. You ever lose?
That was funny. I took Arthur down there once and I tried to get him a job down there, but
really?
He wasn't too into it.
Oh shit. Did you ever lose your voice doing that shit or no?
Some days where, you get very hoarse and the next day it's tough. But for the most part, not.
Yeah.
It's just, you had to learn. It's like, like when we sing, you had to learn how to, do it the right way. So, wind up, getting the nodules and operations like a lot of people I knew down there.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is about it, when people talk about Wall Street, they don't realize that the commodities exchanges like New York, Chicago, these weren't like, most, except for the options guys, most of us were just, regular people. They were a lot of kids, didn't even go to college. It's just kids with common sense or whatever. It was like the blue collar version of Wall Street. We got looked down on, by those guys, the suits and this and that. So it was like a totally, these are like guys, it was like guys you would meet at the track or whatever, just like regular street guys.
Yeah. So you guys were kind of like the black sheep too in that part for sure. You know what I mean? Like
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it was like the punk rock version of Wall Street.
Yeah. And did you get Mark from Super Touch? I mean, not from Super Touch. Floor Punch was working out there too back then?
Who?
Mark from Super Touch?
No,
I'm sorry, Floor Punch.
Yeah, no, he was on the Coffee Sugar Cocoa Exchange, actually. I was on the Mercantile Exchange, New York Mercantile. And it's funny, he's in the construction business now. I ran into him the other day, about a week and a half ago, on my job that I'm on now, he's in the safety part of it. You know, he works for Skanska. You know,
Oh, wow. Oh, shit.
He's got a good job going. You know, I wish I was doing his job.
You got
You
him in here. You got him in there though, right? Didn't you back then?
No. His father-in-law was on the exchange. No, I met him on the exchange.
Oh, okay.
You know, he came up to me. He goes, "Oh, are you in Killing Time?" And I was like, "Yeah." You know, he's like, "Yeah, I'm into hardcore." And I don't even think he had the band at that time. And eventually, he got the band.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. I usually ask people at the end of the thing if you're optimistic or pessimistic, but you already answered that question for me earlier.
The glass is always half empty.
Yeah, you've always been like that. It's how you lived your life, right? And it's always worked for you, and you've always just Well, you're like a realist. I think you're a realist.
Yeah, well, a lot of it's an act. I mean, you know how I my posts and everything. It's self-deprecation is my thing. You know, that's where my humor comes from.
Yeah.
And I tell people they got to listen to that. Me and Vinny singing New York on the end of the album. No one ever gets to that.
Yes.
Like 17 minutes after the last track.
That's right, everybody listening. Anthony Stigma sing New York at the end of our first album.
It's a hell of a town.
I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city that never sleeps and find the king of the hill, top of the list, and number one, king of the hill.
Dude, the first album recording was so fun. Thank you for being part of that too. Fuck, man, I got so many good pictures and memories from that. And you've always been supportive of H2O when we first started, man. All that shit. Always come up and sing "Friend" with us, and yeah, and I talked about with everybody so far, just me moving to New York and getting that tough New York love, like getting your balls broken. You know, the girly man from Maryland, they call me, just fucking with me and shit.
Yeah.
But you were always cool to me. You were always like, you broke balls, but you weren't as harsh as some other people. And you guys took me under your wing, and I really appreciate that, man. That was a lot of good memories.
It's family, bro.
And
it's family.
Yeah.
Think about it. I said it at that the Ray B's thing that we did, like the tribute.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's like, who would have thought, I know some of these people, 37, 38 years, I mean, I know you 34 years or something like that, close to it, right? I mean, it's crazy. Who would have thought? And you're still friends. I mean, Facebook and all of that stuff helps.
Yeah.
Because I live far out the island. I don't get a chance to really go into shows. It's so hard for me. I get up for work at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, just to be in touch through Facebook and see how everyone's lives are going, and like I said, seeing you guys, Madball, AF, Jimmy and Murphy's Law, always on tour, sick of it all, doing all your love. I mean, I love it.
Thank you, man.
Who would have thought that?
I know, man.
Still have these connections.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was talking to Pete yesterday. Pete, like they're like 35 years in, or Gnostic Front's celebrating Victim in Pain 35 years or something. It's fucking insane, dude. It's like lifetimes, man. It's like, and still trying to maintain that balance of being a parent and being responsible and, come home to reality, paying your mortgage and taking your kid to school and fucking all that shit, balancing it all. Yeah, we're very lucky to do that and try to have that balance, because that's important too, man. That's what fucks up relationships too. Yeah, man. Well, thank you, Anthony.
I just wish I could go to the shows.
What's that?
I said I wish I could just go to the shows. I mean, I know when you guys come to New York, you're like, I got to come down, I'll put you on the list, this and that. And I'm just like, it's just so hard to get.
I know. we got to come play Long Island, man.
Yeah.
Do you guys have shows coming up out east soon, or?
Yeah, I think we're playing the Black and Blue Ball.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I'm very excited about.
That's awesome.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
That's a great show. Those guys do a great job, and
yeah.
I wish people would listen to the other records. I'm tired of doing Brightside.
Yeah, I love the other records. Also, man.
My favorite is The Method.
Yeah, The Method's great too. Yeah, I like Happy Hour too. I like all that shit. So what's how many years has been out, Brightside been out for now? It's over like 25. No, Brightside. How many years?
Brightside, we celebrated our 30th.
Wow, dude.
Last year, 2 years on the day after Thanksgiving. We played a show with what do you call it? Outburst in Brooklyn.
Oh shit,
30 years, believe it or not.
Dude,
crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, how long?
Yeah.
your first album was what, 26 years ago, 27 years ago?
Yeah. It's fucking crazy. Is it crazy seeing like the young kids singing those songs like this, like 30? It's crazy. Like when I see you guys play This Is Hardcore and shit, all the kids going off to those songs, and there's new faces and young people still getting into your band. It's fucking wild, man.
Oh, it's amazing every time you see that. And, you know, and it's funny because you see right next to him, you see, you know, the guy from, you know, 30 years ago singing along too.
Yeah.
And you're like, look at this.
Or they're with their kids, or like their dads now. They're bringing their kids to the shows. It's fucking nuts, man. It's like.
Can you imagine if our dads went to a show?
No.
My father would never go.
No, dude.
Do anything.
No. It's crazy, like how
going down to a show.
How your dad came to your shows before. I seen your dad at your shows back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad and mom came a couple times. And his sisters always, you know.
What did they think about it? Did they thought it was crazy?
No, they loved that. You know, my parents. I mean, you remember coming to my house.
Yeah, man.
Like,
yeah.
They were, you know, like everyone's parents. You know, my parents, you know, made you right at home, and you know, they saw everything. Gilligan's Revenge, Token Entry. We practiced in the basement.
Damn.
There was the kids coming in with hair, going out with shaved heads. You know,
barbershop down there.
You know, my mother fed them all. You know, Squirm and Chris Warren used to call. You know, they knew Tuesday night was chicken cutlet night. You know, Squirm would come over. Look for an excuse to come over on Tuesday nights.
That's amazing.
You know, after every holiday, everyone was always at our house. You know, Stigma and Freddie. You know,
it's amazing, man. It's like everybody had families and love at home and different kind of structures, and we came from different spots. But like, it was a total brotherhood and family for sure, no matter what. Like you said, like it was open house at your house all the time. It was like it's amazing, man. It's like those memories are just so important. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I think about them all the time. It's amazing. Like sometimes you hear a song, like I was telling you that the Social D album.
Yeah.
Every time that comes on my iPod, I immediately think of Dave and Squirm, and we're sitting in that van, you know, having a good time, and you know, Dave, rest in peace. And
yes.
You know, I'll hear one of the songs from the first tape, you know, that EJ gave me, and I'll think of him. And I remember seeing him walk down the hall skanking. He had a crew cut, and I was like, who the fuck had that back then, you know? And so they always bring back the memories, you know? Same thing with the swing scene, you know, part of the swing scene. It's like, which is funny, like most of the swing scene people were original, you know, punk guys. I think the singer from Big Bad Blue Daddy, he was in a punk band. I can't remember the name, but the guys that started Raw Crown Review was Eddie Nichols, was an old head from New York. And the Stern brothers were, you know, Youth Brigade guys were the ones that started Raw Crown Review.
Oh,
you know?
shit, that's right. They put it
and
out.
I'll hear those songs and think of the first time I heard them. And yeah, it was the Stern brothers and Eddie.
Wow. What got you into the swing? I was going to ask you that. Like you were full on swing. Like you totally like embraced that and got into that. What do you think it was, that connection for you? Because I remember all of a sudden it was just like, oh shit. I remember like.
I would, you know, I took dance lessons, you know, when I was going to get married the first time. And, you know, there was kind of then. Me and Carl did an interview with some kid, and he was about to get married, and he had the Royal Crown record, you know, the one with Muggsy's Move record.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, like the swing thing. And I said, really? I never heard it. And I went and listened to it, loved it, and saw how the scene had just started, and, you know, people were dressed and the dance and then the whole aspect. It was like, you know, it was kind of like, you know, like an extension of punk and hardcore at the time. You know, it was different. I mean, I got more shit walking around dressed the way I dressed like I was living in the 1930s or 40s than I ever got dressed as a punk.
Wow,
you know, it was amazing. Getting to more arguments or fights with people all dressed up than if you went out like dressed like a skinhead or whatever.
Damn.
It was the weirdest thing. I still got my clothes on. I'm still trying to fit them after 20 years.
Wow. Are you still into that music and stuff? Still listen to it?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. But my favorite is Jump Blues. Even back at the time, you know, even with the whole swing thing, I mean, you can't beat the Jump Blues. That was, you know, really good to dance to, and some of the best singers in the world. They were, you know, they used to call them the Blues Shouters. Yeah. Joe Turner and, you know, Winoni Harris, and the list goes on and on. Beautiful
That's awesome
stuff.
that you found that kind of later, too, like in your life. It wasn't like, I think it's awesome, actually, like that. You found new music that you really loved and embraced. It wasn't just punk and hardcore. I think that's great. It's amazing, actually. And I think Bob Beats was into that, too, with you.
Yeah, Bob Eats, Dan Cav.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of Joe Riot, you know, a couple of these guys. Mike, Polish Mike, you know, everyone was, you know, like I said, it was pretty much an extension of, you know, punk or hardcore. Most of the people that were involved in it.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It's always nice to see faces that you know.
Yeah, man. You guys look good. You guys are dressed up. You having fun dancing. It was just like, it was some grown up shit, I thought, you know?
Yeah. It was funny. We got in a fight on my birthday one night with Pete. I wish I didn't talk to Pete yet. You could have asked him about the story. We're in John's on 12th Street. We used to go there pretty much every night. It was my birthday, so Sharon kind of had a surprise me for me at John's on 30th Street.
Yeah.
So the time I guess Pete's old wife or whatever had on this funny hat. We're walking out, we're pretty tuned up at the time, drinking or whatever, my birthday. So we get out the front. There's like, 4 guys and their wives or girlfriends, like, eating. And then they start making faces of us out the window. So Pete gets pissed off, comes in. I have this guy that used to trade on the trading floor. He was a big Guido dude, Chris. And he walks in and these 4 guys are like, what are you laughing? He goes, hey, these guys look funny. So, me, I'm drunk. I'm like, what are we funny? Kind of like a Joe Pesci type of
Yeah.
And then, Pete's like, come on, me, you, and me, him against you guys. And he goes, how about me against all you guys? And he just sat there like, keeping their mouth shut. So, we were good friends with the owner. So me and Dan go back the next day. We're like, sorry, we wanted to apologize what happened last night. We don't want to make a scene in your restaurant. He goes, no, I want to apologize for having assholes like that in my restaurant.
Yeah, those guys have no idea how close they came.
Yeah.
That's
we go there every weekend, eating there. They treat us right. We treat them right. We respect, how we are. We're respectful with people.
Totally.
It's something hard to hit some kid with a garbage can because we were on Avenue A one night after coming back
Arthur
from the
did?
lounge in the morning. Yeah, and we were all dressed again. Same type of thing. People start making fun of us. I think we were in Odessa or something. I don't remember. And anyway, they're making fun of us through the window. So Arthur comes out, we catch in the fight, which getting hit him with a garbage can.
Just that visual of Arthur holding a garbage can is amazing to me.
Exactly. Can you imagine him picking up a garbage can?
No, man. That's crazy. That's right. Arthur was in the mix too, dressing up and getting into that too. That was awesome too.
Yeah. Remember when we did Feed the Homeless?
Yeah.
With Ray Capo, Todd Youth, and Arthur and everybody. Civ.
Yeah. What year is that?
Times.
Fuck.
1988.
Damn.
Probably actually before I even got out. Probably like 86, 87. Because I don't even think Raw Deal had started yet.
Yeah.
Pretty much the beginning when Ray first started Youth of Today.
It's crazy, man. It's so crazy, man. All the history and all the characters and everybody you met and grew up with and knew out there. It's like it's
the biggest character of them all, Vinny.
The best, man. The best. You saw that Godfather's a hardcore. You saw that, right?
No, I haven't seen it. I don't have what is it?
Showtime. Yeah, it's so good, man.
Cable yet. I gotta rent it. I'm dying to see it.
It's really good, man. You're gonna love it. I might be able to find a link for you. I could send you a link for it.
Greatest guys in hardcore,
dude. The best. I remember AF, man. Like, always been the same dudes through everything. Always been nice and humble and fucking real. And I've done nothing but good things about Agnostic Front, dude. Fuck, man.
Yeah, you can't beat them. Any of you guys.
The best, man. Well, I appreciate your time, Anthony. I appreciate you being part of my life and being so cool when I moved to New York. And I'm glad I got to experience those early days with you, the Right Track in, all those different shows. I did a couple weekends with you guys. I remember like Unisound in Pennsylvania, wherever. Oh, dude, Allentown, Pennsylvania. Holy shit.
Yeah, crazy times.
Dude, crazy times back then, crazy shows. And yeah, man, thank you for always being a good dude to me. And Brightside for me is one of my top records of New York hardcore ever. It stands out on its own. It's everything. I know Hoya always fucking praises it as a big inspiration for Madball. Matt Henderson, Moon just came in the room and she said, me too. It's Moon's birthday. Happy 50th birthday, Moon. Moon's 50 today.
She don't look it.
She's doing good, yeah.
She's still beautiful as ever. She still looks like the
thank you, man.
first one we met. I like that.
Moon has yelled Brightside her favorite too.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. Give her my best. Give her a kiss for her birthday.
I will, brother. And thank you for your time. And I'll talk to you soon, man. Thank you, Anthony.
All right. Love you, kid.
Love you too, brother. Bye.
Peace.
Hey, guys. Thanks for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet to this podcast, please do that. And whatever platform you are listening to this on, I'm glad you found me. You can rate me and review me on there also. So thank you guys sincerely for the support. I cannot wait for you guys to hear the next one.